Hey guys, how are you? This is Eric Bramlett with Bramlett Residential, and today we are here to discuss the November 2024 Austin Metro real estate market statistics. This will be the last update we have for the year. We will do an annual recap, but that will come out in early January. So we're excited to get those numbers to you guys. I usually post this at the end, but I want to remind everyone that we're here to help anyone strategize with their specific situations. If you're a buyer or a seller who'd like to talk about your unique situation, we'd love to chat with you about that. Just reach out to us. We can help you understand what these statistics mean for you. And if you're a real estate professional who'd like to strategize your business, we'd likewise love to chat with you about that. The only thing I ask for in return is please subscribe to the channel, or if you are not on the newsletter already, please reach out to us to subscribe to the newsletter. So with all that said, let's go ahead and dive into the market statistics. The November statistics were positive. We were really happy to see some positive movement late in the year. We think it bodes really well for the spring. And what stuck out to me the most were the total sales and pending numbers. So total sales increased on a year-over-year basis by 8.6%, and pending units increased by 10.5%. It's really good news. It shows that buyers are getting off of the fence, and we can talk about why in just a little bit. Most buyers and sellers are very interested to know what's going on with pricing, and the story really hasn't changed. Pricing has been stable for over 18 months now, and it does remain stable. But it is nice to see that 3 of the 4 pricing numbers actually ticked up a little bit. We saw average price increase by 3.1% on a year-over-year basis, and median price increased by 2.1%. Average sold price per square foot up by just under 1%, and median sold price, stubborn little guy, was the only number that dropped a little bit by 2.3%. But the headline is that pricing is stable, pricing remains stable, and we expect that to remain for the foreseeable future. We will have a better prediction of what will happen in 2025 as we see the spring market take hold in a few months. Months of inventory remain relatively flat, 4.7 MOI versus 4.5 MOI in November of 2023. And average days on market did tick up a little bit. It's now taking sellers on average 87 days to sell. That's versus 75 days to sell in November of 2023. Looking at the trend line for average and median sold price, this really does a great job of telling the story. We do see price tick up on a month over month basis in the summertime, completely normal. It's due to seasonality and more demand in the market. But if you look at the trend line from last November to current, average price is ticking up just slightly, and median price is almost entirely flat on a November to November basis. This is some good news. This shows volume sold, which is a great indication of demand in the market. Leading up to this point, leading up to a month or two ago, we felt like 2024 would be noticeably lower in terms of total volume. But the past 2 months, we've seen volume tick up a little bit. We actually saw volume tick up pretty nicely in November at just under 12%. So the year-to-date volume sold is down now only by 2%. It looks like the demand in 2024 is almost identical to the demand in 2023. Boring news. Seasonality is not doing anything abnormal. We see pending units declining on a month-over-month basis, and this happens very regularly. The only time we don't see pending units behave this way is whenever we have some very large event like the pandemic or the Great Financial Crisis. So on a month-over-month basis, we're seeing fewer homes going under contract. We're also seeing new listings start to decline, and we're also starting to see sellers withdraw from the market. Very easy to understand why. Not a lot of fun to buy and sell houses during the holidays. So most people take a break, and then they pick that back up in the springtime. And we'll talk about what buyers and sellers should do, but it's pretty normal behavior to go ahead and take a break during the holiday winter months. So why did we see an uptick? Well, I think we can point directly to mortgage rates. The interesting thing is that mortgage rates didn't really move that much. So these are rates today, and you can see we're at 6.7%, and the 1 month change is only 0.2%. But the perception is that rates are going in the right direction. Normally, we need to see rates move more than this to see buyers get off of the fence. But what's unique about today's situation is that we have almost 3 years of pent up demand. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of buyers out there and sellers that want to move. So people typically buy and sell due to life events. They get married, they have kids, the house is too small, the kids move out of the house is too big. So real estate is fundamentally a utility. People buy it because they need to live somewhere, right? Now, external factors influence that. So when rates are higher or rates are trending up, you'll see people decide not to make a move even though they want to. And that's what's happened over the past 3 years. Well, during these 3 years, people are still having babies, the kids are still getting bigger, the kids are still moving out of the house, and that house is still too big or too small for them. What this shows me is that with that pent up demand, I don't think it will take a lot of good news in the mortgage market to get a lot of these buyers off of the fence. So I'm hopeful that if this news continues, that we will see a better spring in 2025, and dare I see potentially a much better spring in 2025. But we'll know more as it gets closer. We'll know more as we see which direction mortgage rates are trending. A bear case is that rates just kind of stay the same. Bull case is that they improve dramatically. And the most likely case is that we see rates like in the mid to low sixes in the spring. The not great news is that the other component we need, especially in Austin, is we need the job market to improve. So a normal job market for Austin is a very robust job market where we have major tech employers hiring, we have startups starting up and hiring, and that just hasn't been the case for over 2 years now. We've seen a hiring freeze for over 2 years. We saw layoffs recently, and the net result of that is that the normal component of lots of people moving into Austin, typically 150 people a day, just hasn't been the case. Now, that will return. It's not a question of if that will return. The question is really when will that return? And so we want to watch this really closely. And we watch Indeed job postings. In my opinion, that's the best source that we can look at. It's not the only source, but it's the best source. And when you look at this is the November to November trend line of job postings, and it's not good. It's down. It's trending down. But when we're looking at leading indicators, one of the earliest indicators we can look at is rate of change. So how are things trending? And for the past 12, 13 months, we've seen the Indeed job postings in decline by 20 to 30% on a year-over-year basis. In November, the rate of change was only 12%. So we saw Indeed job postings drop by 12%. Again, that's negative. We don't want to see the job postings drop. We want to see them flat or increase. But you'll typically see the rate of change improve, which it did. And then hopefully that trend continues and we'll start to see the number of job postings actually increase on a year-over-year basis. And we watch this really closely because, again, it's the second component that we need to get back to Austin's very robust, normal real estate market. Not a 2021, but say a 2019. So what does this mean for you, right? If you're a buyer, you're in a great position. If you are motivated to buy in the winter for some reason, you'll get a good deal. You might not get a great deal on your favorite house, but if you're that motivated buyer who's also willing to compromise on which house is your favorite, you can get a really good deal. If you're a buyer who wants to take a break over the holidays, that's pretty normal. If you want to start planning for the spring, that's a pretty normal thing to do. And we expect that you'll have a good market in the spring. We don't expect prices to jump in any insane manner at all. You'll probably have slightly better mortgage rates as well. If you're a seller and you don't have to sell right this minute, very logical decision to pull it off of the market and to try again in the spring. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One is it's definitely walking uphill with wind in your face to try to sell a property in the winter months in Austin. The other reason is if you do pull off of the market and you take a break for 90 or more days, when you relist, it's going to look like a brand new listing. So it'll show 0 days on market. It'll be kind of a refresh. You'll have more leverage when you're negotiating with buyers. So those are kind of the two good reasons to pull off of the market right now if you're a seller who's currently on the market. If you're a seller and you absolutely have to sell, you have some external event that's requiring that you sell, you need to have a really close look at your situation. You need to have a really tough talk with your agent. You need to discuss pricing. You need to discuss if there's anything you need to do to make the home more attractive, access, things like that. Most people are not in that situation. So if you are, I'm very sympathetic to that. But you do have some tough decisions to make. We'd love to chat with you about that if you'd like to have another opinion on your situation. If you're a real estate professional, great job. You muscled through a couple of really tough years. The work that you're doing right now will probably not yield you any results in 2024. Really tough to try to, make this year, even the next couple of months, any better. But the work that you're doing right now will help you succeed in 2025. So just know that there's an element of delayed gratification in any business, and specifically in the real estate business. During the winter months, you have to understand that what you're doing isn't futile. And you will see results. You will see more sales in 3, 6, 9 months based on the hard work that you're doing now. Everyone's situation is unique, and we understand that, and we love that. And I would love to chat with you if you're a buyer or a seller and you'd like to talk about your specific situation. If you're a real estate professional and you'd like to discuss business strategy, that's one of my favorite topics, and I would love to chat with you about that. So please reach out. If you're not already subscribing to the channel, please subscribe. And if you're not on our newsletter, please subscribe to our newsletter. I thank you very much for making it this far. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I hope that you have awesome plans for the holidays. I'm Eric Bramlett, and I hope that you have an awesome day. Thank you so much.